Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here, joined by, of course, the coach, former high school football coach at Burnet, Capel, Brownwood, Rotan, Belton. Also was a college football player at Abilene Christian. Coached there on multiple stints. Also was on the staff at the University of Texas for multiple head coaches. It's Coach Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Just trying to stay cool, man. Ready for that first cold front to roll through Texas.
Well, you got about 6 weeks, or
Yeah, I know.
you got a while, Coach, for that cold front hits. But we all worried. That's that first real feel of fall when you walk outside in the morning and it's not humid or hot. You walk outside.
Can you imagine playing this Saturday? It's going to be bad enough.
Oh man,
playing Colorado State the next Saturday, but this Saturday, what time is that big game at?
I don't know, Coach. Yeah, you're right. If it's somewhere in the southern United States and it is anytime before prime time, it's gonna be hot. And even in prime time, man, it gets a little hot. So I'm with you, Coach.
That's probably prime time.
I don't miss that part of the 2 days in training camp, trying to basically train your body to deal with heat exhaustion. That's basically what you're acclimating your body to. It is no easy task, but the Longhorns should have the advantage when it comes to that with the first week of the season. But football theory, we always, of course, when game week gets around, we're talking about game week specific items. But I want to continue talking about more of the broad strokes, some of the macro items. And I want to get into the deep ball a little bit, Texas offensively, and get into the deep ball. It's something we don't talk about enough, because I think Sark has curtailed it as of late. Because it was something that Texas just wasn't really good at converting. But there are numbers that suggest that Texas this year could have a much more efficient and much more effective conversion rate when it comes to some of those deeper passes down the field. So we'll get to that. But first, let's thank our sponsor. We want to thank the fantastic Laura Baker for sponsoring the Football Theory. The show is brought to you by accomplished Austin realtor Laura Baker. Laura and the Andy Allen team at Keller Williams can handle all of your real estate needs in the Austin area. Laura is not only a diehard Longhorn fan, but a longtime Austin real estate expert. So please give her a shout today. If you have any concerns or you have any issues regarding real estate in the Austin area, 512-784-0505. That's 512-784-0505. Thank you very much to Laura Baker for sponsoring Football Theory. All right, Coach. The deep ball has always been a big topic of conversation on the 40 acres. There are some that thought Texas was too basically they were using it in a gratuitous manner early on in Sark's tenure by throwing the deep ball a little bit too much. They would get themselves behind the chains. But Texas is never really good at throwing and converting the deep passes since Sark's been here. But there is hope because in the last 7 games for Quinn Ewers, his last 7 starts, I should say, he went from a completion percentage of 24% on passes 20 yards or more in his previous 15 starts, but in the last 7 starts, he had a completion percentage of 43%. So went from 24% in the previous 15 starts. In the last 7 starts, he was at 43%. Yards per attempt doubled, went from 7.9 on deep passes to 14.8. His off-target percentage was 44%. That number dropped in the last 7 starts to 25%. His QBR on deep passes was you're going to look at overall, his QBR was a 23 QBR, which is not very good on 20-plus yard passes, which was 135th in the FBS among 146 quarterbacks. Not very good, but that number rose to a 92 QBR in the last 7 starts. So it's clear that there was marked improvement, Coach, on the deep ball. The question is, was there enough improvement for Sark now to start deploying the deep ball more within the offense? Because there's no question he curtailed it, and he's seen those deep passes seem to drop a little bit. The rate of deep passes dropped in the offense when Sark felt like they were putting them behind the chains. Because most of them, I'd say close to 50% of Texas deep balls, actually, guys, they came on first down. Like first down play action shots. And when you don't convert those, unfortunately, they lead to 2nd and long and then eventually 3rd and long.
Well, you and I have talked about this before earlier. I think we're better off on the deep ball whenever it is play action, just to hold the safeties a little bit, hold the linebackers a little bit so the linebackers don't get under your coverage. But it is obvious through what you just presented, the facts you just presented, that something happened that changed. And I would like to think it's just Quinn just continuing to develop, continuing to be wiser, continuing to hopefully step up in the pocket that's one of the things that you and I have talked about too, is wanting to see him be more comfortable stepping up in the pocket, because sometimes a deep ball, especially if it's a double move, it's going to take a little bit longer. The double move is the most effective deep ball if you have time to throw it.
Yeah.
And so that's the key. He's going to have to learn how to be more comfortable in the pocket and not bail out so soon, not throw it on the run. And you've made some really good points about where his eyes need to be, where his attention needs to be, how he needs to feel the defense more instead of focusing on them, and, to feel the pressure. I mean, instead of focusing on it, just feel it as you continue to watch your routes develop and anticipating someone breaking open. But another thing that is obvious on deep balls is that sometimes, most of the time, you've got to let the ball go before your guy's open.
Yeah.
You have to anticipate it, whether he's going to run a deep post or whether he's going to run a stutter and go or whatever it is. You've got to throw it before. If you throw it after he's open, most people don't realize that. And that's a difficult adjustment for high school quarterbacks to make to college. Mm-hmm. They want to wait until the guy's open to throw it. It's too late. You got too much speed, especially in the SEC and the secondary, to wait till a guy's open to throw it. So he has to anticipate that, and he doesn't need to let the pass pressure get to him as he's anticipating this guy coming open. He's got to stay focused on it. No, he may get hit, and that's not the end of the world to get hit. Another thing I'd like to say offensively, you and I have also talked on the Winning Drive podcast that we do on Monday and Thursday about the fact that Ryan Wingo is doing really well at the wideout, but you've reported that he hasn't been able to transition into all the positions. And I'm wondering, maybe as a freshman, is it not better off just to leave him outside and let him really hone his skills? Because what we saw in the spring and what we've heard is that his timing is impeccable. The way that he goes up and gets the ball, he has very good control of his body, almost acrobatic type.
Yeah.
He's explosive when he goes up. He knows how to as a basketball player, almost block out, the defensive guy. So I'm wondering if maybe not putting so much on his play as a freshman, let him play wide out, let him be a go-to guy that you're going to go to on the deep ball. And I think that could really help our completion percentage on the deep balls.
Coach, I love what you brought up there about that double move. I'm going to come back to that because actually I am with you 100%. As a defensive back, there's nothing more terrifying than that damn double move because once you bite on it, even if you don't bite on it, even if it's not a full commitment to the initial fake, all you need is that DB to have undisciplined eyes or their footwork to be a little bit off, and that really can be a hell of a game-changing kind of play if you time it out right. So I want to get back to that because I think you said you need time for the double move, and I think there is a personnel grouping that can give them a little bit more time. But getting back to the deep ball, there are 14% of Quinn Ewers throws were considered deep passes, 20 yards or more, and he completed overall. And this is not just the last 7 starts. We're talking about overall 33% completion percentage on those deep passes, 20 yards or more in the air. That's good for 76 in the FBS. So he's basically right around average, right around a little bit below or above average. The reason that is concerning for a lot is because of the receivers that you had last season, right? The Kansas City Chiefs drafted Xavier Worthy specifically for the purpose of bringing the verticality to their offense because they think he's a great deep threat. Now, the numbers would argue against that. Xavier Worthy, his off-target throws in his career at Texas, 22.4%. That was the highest off-target rate of any wide receiver in his class. The 9.2 yards per target average on deep passes was actually the worst for any projected non-undrafted free agent Power 5 receiver coming out in that class. He had 94 deep targets in his career, 25% completion, 25% completion rate, and the completion rate on the catchable deep passes was 77%, also among one of the lowest numbers. But a lot of the people believe, a lot of scouts and insiders believe that it wasn't Xavier Worthy's fault. That was more on Quinn's development as a deep ball passer. That is something that they want to see this season. And even with the new receivers, I wonder if chemistry on some of those deep passes is going to be an issue. So, but like based on last season, he was trending the right way. But getting to your point, Coach, about the most effective deep routes, The 6-0 line package, we've talked about this, the Big 11, Big 12 package. We're looking for personnel groupings that will help you push the football down the field. I don't think any of them are better than the 6-0 line package for Texas, whether you're talking about Big 11, Big 12. You're averaging damn near 12 yards per attempt, and your straight drop back rate. No play action, no screens, no RPO, just a straight drop back rate is closer to 50% out of the 6-0 line package. So when Sark wants to go downfield, max protect, double moves, I think this is the package you'll see. To your point, Coach, about, I love the double move, but you need time. This package here can give them the time. You look at the explosive play rate out of the pass, out of the 6-0 line package, you're looking at damn near 28% explosive play rate when you're passing out of the 6-0 line package. So I think when you present power personnel packages, it allows you to pivot to some play action pass principles as you like, but even straight drop back in that situation, but you can go downfield because you got the protection and the time to do it. Yeah,
I love the play action and the corner post. We used to call it cop route, COP, for corner post. And, with the play action, you're holding the linebackers in a little bit. The receiver will break to the corner for 3 steps, and then on that 3rd step, he plants and comes back inside. That's one of the hardest passes to defend because if they work on it so much, the quarterback has already let the ball go by the time the DB has flipped his hips back inside, because he's thinking, oh no, there's a lot of area out there for me to cover on that corner route out there. And then of course, just the opposite, the POC route, the post corner is also a tough one, but I think it's a little easier for a DB because the ball is going to have some air under it. Whereas the corner post route, the quarterback has a straight shot, just he can throw a bead right at him. But if it's going to be the post corner route, he's got to put air under it, and DBs have more time to get to the ball. So I'd like to see us run more of that cop route, the corner post route. And I don't think you have to have quite as much time to do that. You don't have to run it real deep if the linebackers are sucking in on the run fake.
Yeah, that's a good point, Coach. And I almost wonder who's going to be those deep threats. I love your Ryan Wingo take. That's simple transition for a young wide receiver. Some of those deeper routes, there is less nuance, right? You're not asking him to learn multiple positions. You're not asking him to do sight adjustments. You're asking him, hey, I need you to run a 9 route. I need you to run a post route. Can you beat that guy? And Ryan Wingo can do that. So I was wondering if he'll emerge maybe early on as a deep threat for Texas that can take the top off of defense. We know Isaiah Bond has the world-class speed. If you go look at Isaiah Bond, he actually, in terms of being a speedster, he was last season, he had 18 plays where he was clocked at least 20 miles per hour. Only Xavier Worthy had more plays where he was clocked at least 20 miles per hour. So Isaiah Bond has got some world-class speed. But I got this little stat, found it interesting. If you go look at the top speed of Xavier Worthy and the top speed of Isaiah Bond on deep routes, is actually Worthy slows down a little bit from his top speed on deep routes. His top speed was on deep passes was 21 miles per hour, but when he ran a deep route, apparently his top speed was 21, but when he ran a deep route, it dropped to 19.9 miles per hour, strangely enough. And Isaiah Bond, actually, his top speed on deep routes was actually 20.6 miles per hour. So he was faster when running a deep route. He was faster than Xavier Worthy was when running a deep route last year.
That's amazing. I think one thing that could explain that is Xavier throttles down a little bit to be able to adjust to the ball, either to make a burst to go get it or come back inside if he needs to or whatever on a ball that may be poorly thrown. Because if you're running full speed, there's only one thing you can do, and that's decelerate. But if you're at 7-8 speed and you see the trajectory of the ball, you can hit that extra gear and go get it. I don't think that's all bad. I think that's probably a pretty smart way to run. I never wanted my guys running full speed because when that ball's just out of reach, it's nice if you've got another gear where you can go past the DB and get it. But I think Ryan Wingo, I see him, certainly he doesn't have the build of Randy Moss, but I can see him, what little I've seen, he seems to have that Moss attitude. The ball is in the air, it's my ball. To me, that's what I always thought about Randy Moss. I mean, if you're such a bad dude that people play games named after you, hey, man, I'm going to Moss you, I mean, that's a guy who this ball is mine. I mean, it's mine. I don't care what I got to do. I'm going to get it. I see Wingo, by the time he leaves the 40 acres, being that kind of ball hawk of a guy, not I can't say. I think Randy Moss was probably the greatest receiver to ever play the game. Just everything that he brought to the table, his freakish athletic ability. I don't know that Wingo is on the freakish level, but I think he's going to be a guy that's going to leave his mark at the university.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Coach. He's definitely got a tremendous upside. So when you talk about throwing the ball deep, I think the personnel is a big part of it. The personnel groupings that you put together. I talked about the Big 11, Big 12 package. I know they probably won't use the pony package as much, but also you're averaging over 12 yards per attempt out of the pony package. It seems to be when you want to stretch it downfield that Sark has actually had more success based on my numbers and metrics with power personnel packages rather than with spread personnel of throwing the football downfield, mostly because defenses are geared to try to stop the run when they see power personnel, big bodies, big humans, multiple backs, and multiple tight ends. And then you can always obviously pivot to more play action pass scenarios and get the football downfield. To add to that, before we end the episode of Football Theory, I went and got this. This is NFL numbers, so this is not college, but it's NFL, but it does track with presenting more power personnel packages, and that will open up the deeper vertical pass. If you go look at average yards per route run, which is kind of the most efficient metric to judge the passing game, in the NFL, average yards per route run, when you have one wide receiver on the field, which means you have more tight ends and running backs, 2.14 yards per route run. With two wide receivers on the field, 2.1 average yards per route run. With three wide receivers on the field, officially becoming the spread set, that's your 11 personnel, 1.39 yards per route run. Four wide receivers on the field, 1.32 yards per route run. So if you're looking at, and I even got it from a 6-0 line package from 2020 to 2022 in the NFL, when you have 6 O-linemen on the field, 2.9 yards per route run in the NFL. It tracks just with Sark's metrics as well. When he's got the 6-0 line package out there, it allows him insulation and pass protection to stretch the football vertically. 21 personnel in the NFL, 1.9 yards per route run. 22 personnel, two backs, two tight ends, 1.8 yards per route run. 13 personnel, three tight ends, 1.8 yards per route run. 12 personnel, 1.8 yards per route run. But with two, if you go just three wide receivers on the field, that's when your yards per route run drop to 1.4, 1.45, 1.42. 11 personnel is 1.37. So it tracks that if you present a defense with power, they will think run, and then you can pull the okie doke, the rope-a-dope, if you will, throw the football and gain a lot more of your vertical yards that way. And I think that's kind of what Sark probably could lean on this season, open up the vertical passing game. In addition to what you said, Coach, more double moves, more Ryan Wingo deep. I like that. All right, let's thank our fantastic sponsor, Laura Baker, before we get out of here. We really appreciate Laura Baker being part of the On Texas football family. Football Theory is brought to you by accomplished Austin realtor Laura Baker. Laura and the Andy Allen team at Keller Williams can handle all of your real estate needs in the Austin area. Laura is not only a diehard Longhorn fan, but a longtime Austin real estate expert. So please give her a shout today. 512-784-0505. That's 512-784-0505. Thank you very much to Laura Baker. And thank you very much to Matthew behind the scenes. Thank you, Coach, for all of your wisdom. We appreciate that. Thank you for all you guys for joining us, for watching, and for listening to Football Theory. And until next time, hook 'em horns.